Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. Tony.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 28th of October 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, our topic today is imagine that when you are 110 years old, you have a chance to go back to 25 years old, but you only have 5 minutes to talk to the inexperienced you. What advice would you give him? Alright, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Alright, so here we go. Yep, so for me, yeah, this is actually a tough question because I found that the things that we would like to deliver to the to ourselves, which is the 25 years old uh, me, and then what we want to talk to them is actually the things that we feel regret, and then we think they can do something that we didn't do, and then they can uh, or maybe not do something that we did in the past. So this is the things that we regret maybe when we were 110 years old. Yeah, so um, for right now, I'm 26, and yeah, I actually, to be honest, I find it hard to think of what I would uh, regret when I was 110 years old, which is almost like 85 years old, 85 years later. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe right now, I think um, uh, yeah, okay. So maybe I would tell the 25 years old me um, to live at the present, and then to not to regret on what I did in the past, which is before 25 years old. Um, uh, regret is regret is something. Um, of course, we can use to do some reflection and then change something, but the feeling of regret is useless. So what we did is to live at the present, and then uh, also to know what we want, and then to pursue whatever that is your uh, that is your objective. And to me also, of course, our objective will change uh, maybe every years, or every few months, or every 10 years. And then I think this is something natural. And then uh, maybe when we look back, we will feel like we were silly when we were, let's say, 10 years ago. But that wasn't when we were at the present. So I think regret is something uh, we shouldn't pay much attention on regret. We should be live at the present, and then we need to understand that um, every silly thing that we did, every failure that we have, is kind of the way of our life. And then yeah, this is something like to need to be experienced. Yep. And then um yeah, so I actually I don't know what I want to tell to the 25 years of myself. And then yeah, only have got 5 minutes, and maybe before I leave, uh I Yeah, maybe I can tell him which stocks to invest for long term. Yeah, because that is 85 years old later. Sorry, 85 years later. Yeah. So these are my sharing.
Yeah, you don't know what to tell younger self, but if you have a chance to meet 110 years old older you, and
Mm.
what you want.
Oh, so it is the opposite. The 25 years old can have a chance to talk to 110 years old uh, self, right? Um, yeah, maybe I would ask instead of tell, I would ask him uh, like how are you? Maybe what's something that you feel uh, struggling? Maybe if the financial part, maybe is the health issues, uh, yeah, something like that, so that I can do something starting from 25 years old, so that at that time I won't suffer.
Mm, but this is the point. If they give you an answer, if he give you an answer and then you work for the objective and may have some effect or butterfly effect, which is, yeah, you can improve on some aspect, but the success you may get in other aspects previously.
Maybe will disappear, right?
Yeah,
Mm, yep, also.
yeah. So beside of this,
Mm.
anything else want to ask him? Only 5 minutes.
um, yeah, maybe just like what I said just now, maybe which stocks to invest, and then at least I can hold it, just and then to accumulate some wealth. Yeah, I think this is something practical. Yeah, 现实.
Okay, so if it's me, if I am years old and I have chance to go back 5 years old and what I want younger the younger mind. And yeah, first I need to think what I should tell, what I shouldn't. So uh this split into two categories. Yeah.
Mm.
And about what I should, and something that the younger self already know. So there's no point to tell. So there's something that I shouldn't tell.
Mm.
And second is something about my destiny. Because when you are 110 years old, uh you you kind of like couldn't live any longer. So uh you already comes to the end of your journey, life journey. So what you shouldn't tell is about your destiny, about 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 your life, why, uh, how how it look like at the end, or how you feel in the journey. All that things, it may not help him, just like his life may not same as your life. Yeah, if you think his life will exactly same as your life, and then whatever you tell him will not affect anything, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you when you kind of like giving him advice, and then kind of like try to tell him, try to change him, try to influence him. And the premise is you have the mindset that he or she may not have the same life as you. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, correct, right?
So is it something like life? Uh, we don't have a fixed destiny. We can change it
Yeah, yeah.
based on what we do, right?
Yeah. So if you have the fixed destiny and whatever whatever thing, whatever advice you tell him, you can't change him, you can't fix him, right? So
Mm,
there's no point. There's no point to tell to a younger self.
yeah.
Mm, yeah. So this is a second thing, something about your destiny, because uh, if you think logically with the premise whole and kind of like want to change him and want to influence him, want to advise him. Yeah. So uh, there's no one, there's no one comes to you when you are 25 years old, when you are 26 years old, and tell you what is your future. Just like the fortune telling. If someone give, if someone uh let you know your fortune, will you still work hard? This is the first thing. And second
Mm,
is, yeah, you may aim for only one direction, and the world could change, and it may like a parallel universe.
mm,
So uh maybe what he did is not suit for that parallel universe. Yeah, and they just walk on the wrong direction. Yeah, but if this is you, if if there is nobody uh give you the advice, and you will think by your own. You use your brain and think hard by your own. You won't
mm,
like blindly follow an advice which told by 110 years old of you. Yeah,
mm,
so uh so this is the second thing, something that about my destiny. I, uh I won't tell. Mm. And the third is something that could change very, very fast. Yeah, for example, just a piece of information. Mm. For example, like what you said, maybe a stock, yeah, a company, and this is something that could change very, very fast. And just like uh, what I said just now, mm, in in your 25 years old life, yeah, and that may that may not be the case. The company may not perform well. Mm. It may in another parallel universe. Yeah, yeah. So this is something that I won't tell.
mm,
And the last thing, which is something that is certain, something that is fully certain. Yeah, and this is quite subjective, but I give you an idea uh,
mm,
what I mean about the certain. And something that something that certain is for example also is like a piece of information and a piece of history. Yeah, a piece of history, and so which is something that happened in your life, but it may not happen in the younger self life. Yeah, and you can tell him, you can tell him the case, you can tell him the thing, but you shouldn't tell him this is a certain thing. It must happen. Yeah. So you can tell him the thing that happened in your life, the history that
mm,
happened in life, but you shouldn't uh tell him it must happen, something like that. Yeah. So this is what uh, I think, in my opinion, the four of the thing we shouldn't tell to our younger self. Yeah. And if we think from another perspective, uh, so actually this topic can relate it to teaching, what to teach, what not to teach, mm,
Yeah.
what to say, what not to say, what to tell, what not to tell. Yeah. And okay, and now we go back to another category, which is what I would like to tell him. Yeah.
Mm.
And the first thing is something that I feel regret. So it's also something that he or she might feel regret, may feel regret. Mm, yeah. But he can choose. He can choose still work on the direction, but pay a little attention on something that I regret. Yeah. So he also can choose do whatever, make any change. Yeah, this is their life. Yeah, I just tell him something that I feel regret, but but you don't have to, do that. Mm. But you don't have to work on something that I feel regret. Yeah, maybe, maybe the regret is come from my success. Yeah, this is my sacrifice. Mm. Yeah, and the second thing, which is put yourself on the 25 years old, on your 26 years old self shoes. Yeah, try to think what you think when you are 25 years old, when you are 26 years old, and
Mm.
so it can lead to a conclusion, which is you can tell something that the younger self have doubt. Yeah, which is the opposite of the first thing you shouldn't tell, which is something that something that the younger self already know.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is the opposite, which is something that the younger self have doubt. Yeah. And this is the second thing. And the third thing is something that the younger self don't believe, don't have to believe. So is it out of his imagination, is it out of his uh connections, he or she uh don't even have this perspective.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's an unknown.
Yeah, something is an unknown, and you couldn't let him understand within 5 minutes. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
this is for sure, because this is a exactly new perspective. This is exactly new belief, and belief is not so easy to form. Yeah, and so why? Because when you tell him the case, when you tell him the thing, he may have doubt, because uh, what you tell him may change their belief. It the thing you tell him may in conflict with their belief. Yeah. So this is something that you shouldn't do uh instead of trying to solve, trying to like reduce their doubt, you're trying to increase their doubt. Yeah.
Oh.
So this is something that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't confuse your younger self.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is the third thing I think uh you eh, uh yeah this is something that you shouldn't tell, right? Yeah. So yeah, sorry. The thing that what thing you shouldn't tell younger self, which is something that uh uh is totally different, totally conflict with the younger self belief. So this is the in the
Oh.
shouldn't tell category. Yeah, this is under the shouldn't tell category. Yeah.
Hmm.
So in shouldn't tell category, we actually have five things. Yeah,
Mm.
and in should tell, can tell or should tell category is the first, something that you feel regret.
Yeah.
something that the younger self may have doubt.
Mm.
And also the third thing is something that the younger self really want to know. Yeah, but this is also a little bit subjective because the answer, the question can conflict with something that could change very, very fast,
Mm. Yeah.
or something that uh, they may want to, something that the younger self want to get the certainty. Yeah, yeah, because for example, you really want to know, let's say, for example, for me, I really want to know whether Bitcoin can hit 1 million. Yeah,
Mm.
so uh, but is this, but yeah, this is, uh, for example, this is something that I really want to know. But if I am 110 years old, would I tell the younger self this thing? I shouldn't tell. Yeah, yeah, I shouldn't tell him this thing. Hmm.
Mm.
Because if I tell, yeah, yes, or even I say, yeah, in my life, in in my parallel universe, Bitcoin didn't hit 1 million, or Bitcoin eventually go zero, or Bitcoin eventually have hit 100 million US dollar. But yeah, even though you tell it may not happen in your life, but how about the younger self think? They may think, oh, in one of the parallel universe, Bitcoin did behave like that. And how about in this universe I'm living? Yeah, maybe will also behave the same thing. So it also kind of like you increase their doubt.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, so there's some conflict. What thing the younger self really want to know. Yeah, so this is not something that they want they will ask. Yeah, something that uh they want to ask versus something that they really want to know is different thing. Yeah, something that they really want to know, which means you really need to hack into their connections and hack into their subconscious and try to think, yeah, what is really beneficial to him at this current moment, and what is the what is the fundamental thing, yeah, what is the fundamental thing uh, they should uh, they should know, and they really really want to know. And you, and also you hope that somebody will tell you when you are 25 years old, when you are 26 years old. Mm. So this is a little bit subjective. Yeah, I would like to say.
Mm.
Yeah. And the last thing, which is something that you, which is 110 years old, uh, self, think that is extremely important and worth to remind, even though something that uh, the younger self already know. Yeah. Mm. So, for example, in investment, yeah, you can repeat again. Don't use leverage. Yeah, these rules, this law still apply when I was like 30 years old, when I was 40 years old, when I was 50 years old, when I was 60 years old, when I was 70 years old, when I was 80 years old, 90, 100 and 110 years old.
Mm.
So yeah, so it could be the real wisdom. Yeah. So this is extremely important and would to remind. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like uh confirm their belief.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. And you also can tell him some other thing, for example, exercise. Yeah, for the meditations. Yeah. What do you think about that? Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
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 But
Maybe
the
just
all
ask them to try, right?
mm,
Not forcing them to do. Maybe ask them to try a few things, to experience it. At least you try it.
what do you mean? For example.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think uh, like meditations, exercise, these kind of things, um, Yeah, maybe we can we can ask them to try it, and then maybe for a month or 2 months, and then
Yeah,
they decide by themselves whether which one they would like to choose.
yeah. So, for example, something that the younger self has doubt. For example, they're really not sure whether meditation is beneficial to him.
Mm,
They don't know whether exercise is really beneficial to him. And what advice you can give? Yeah, uh, try try at least 2 years or try at least 3 years and see is there any result. If you still couldn't get the result, then you can quit.
mm,
Something
yeah.
like that, right? Yeah. Uh, so yeah, by doing that, you actually solve the doubt. Yeah, solve their doubt, and you also didn't tell him the certain thing. Yeah. For example, something that can work or something that cannot work. There's
Mm,
something which is like 0 and 1. You didn't tell him the certain. Yeah.
yeah.
And you didn't tell him your destiny. Mm, yeah. So yeah, this is a good attitude. I think this is the good attitude to 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 advise the younger self. Mm. Ask them try, instead of ask them to do.
Mm, yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So all of this is my principle. Yeah. Although some of them conflict to each other, but you can think like this is kind of like this is kind of like a general guidance. Yeah. For me. So when I think what advice I want to give, and I try to fix into this model and to see whether it is good to tell, whether it is not good to tell. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So what I want what I would what I would uh tell my younger self is mm, yeah, the first thing just want to let him know, yeah, I come to you and talk to you. I really don't know whether this experience, this advice can really help you. Because when you are 25 years old, when you are 26 years old, you already know about the parallel universe
Mm,
concept. So you also know about the butterfly effect, and so I think you should have know that uh, maybe maybe we couldn't change our life, or maybe we can change our life, but if we try hard to change, it may lead to another direction. Yeah.
mm,
So what I tell you is just an advice. You can treat it like a piece of information, and you shouldn't treat it something that very certain, and
yeah.
try to use it to become the Bible, 圣
Mm,
经. Yeah. So yeah, I will tell. For example, in my life, yeah, something that I would like to tell is in in my 110 years of life, whether I have experienced war or not. Yeah, this is something. This is one of thing I would like to tell uh, my younger self. Yeah.
mm,
So the implication here is the first thing is it actually can increase the awareness that we might have war in future. So uh, you should do something to prepare. Yeah, you should do something to prepare. Yeah, even though it eventually didn't happen.
mm,
Mm. You
yeah.
should you should train you should train or you should cultivate some life life skill in order to survive, and not just pursuing money and hope that money can work for you, and also hope that uh, the society and the world uh, will also be like that, even though we also like that, and didn't change the structure, didn't change for 100 years, for 110 years. Yeah.
Mm.
So even though the world eventually didn't come to my younger self universe, and this is still a good advice. Yeah, this is still good advice, and I can tell whether in my life I experience war or not. Yeah,
Mm.
if yes, then yes. If no, then no. Yeah, but I really not sure about your life, and I would like to tell you, yeah, prepare for the war because that is really, really uh terrible. Mm.
Mm. Yeah,
Because
so for here, could it be like a white lie is better than the true answer? For example, if
yeah,
you
maybe, yeah, maybe,
haven't experienced, but you say
yes,
you have, it's
yeah,
better, right?
yeah, yes, yeah, maybe, yeah, maybe. May maybe in this case we should like tell a white line. Mm, yeah. And so this is the first thing. And second thing, I will tell about uh something that's uh to let him know what the world look like. Yeah, even though that may not help him, but it can kind of like uh uh to to increase their curiosity, and also to let him have the have the have the have the excitement, or have the mm, have the, what is it called, uh motivations, yeah,
Mm.
to live well, to live longer in order to see that kind of world.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, we already have the self-driving car, or what we have in our in my current world. And yeah, yeah, for example, like after 10 years, or after 20 years, uh the AR VR is already become very important, and uh people use it very frequently, thing like that. Yeah. So tell her, you can tell him about something that's really, really inspiring, and then
Mm.
so uh it can increase the chance for them to work hard, to work harder. Or try to or try not to focus on one's objective, buy a stock or buy a crypto.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, the last thing is which is something that I really, really want to know. So that means I know the youngest self, which is 25 years old and 20 or 26 years old, really want to know about, which is about the crypto market in futures. Mm. And for this one, uh, I actually uh I actually hesitate. I actually hesitate, and I don't know whether I should tell. Now, whether I should tell in future we still have crypto or not. Mm.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. For this one, I still don't know. Yeah, but if I but if I but if I choose to tell, I won't tell. I won't tell him. I won't tell him how much like Bitcoin can go, how much Ethereum can go, what what is the rising crypto. Yeah. Uh, I won't tell the younger self like this, and but I will tell like in future we still have crypto. Mm. Just like that. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So this is something that uh yes, some advice I would give my younger self.
Mm. Yep. Yep. So from your sharing, so I think if some advice which can increase the awareness of our younger self will be good, right?
Mm, mm.
Yeah. All right, and then yeah, before end, can you repeat the first one in your shouldn't tell category? I didn't write it down.
Something that you have, something that you have already know, which is something that the younger self have already know. For example,
Oh,
you
okay.
should give you an example. For example, you shouldn't tell your younger self, yeah, eat healthier, yeah, uh, uh, eat healthier, or maybe drive your car slower, or maybe like uh don't like look at the computer screen uh for too long hours. Yeah, so this is something that we have already know.
Mm,
And yeah, even though 100 years, 110 years old guys, 110 years old self telling telling you, what would you feel? Will you think it is an important advice? This is something that you have already know.
mm,
And yeah, it won't change anything. Yeah. For example, try to imagine 110 years old self, 110 years old you, tell you that you should drive slower, you should eat healthier, you should uh, eat lesser meat, you should eat more vegetable, you should uh, you should uh, you should do exercise more. Yeah, maybe in the first few months, you will take it serious. You may work very hard on that, but
mm,
after that, you will forget about it. Yeah, you will
mm.
think, yeah, I still have other things to pursue. So, for example, I'm rushing, so so I really need to go to office right now. Yeah, mm. So
Yeah.
you drive fast. So this it actually doesn't change anything. Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, so you just waste the time. Mm.
yeah.
Mm. Or maybe some other thing which is you already have believed. For example, you tell him you need to do investment. Yeah, for me, this is something that I already know. Yeah, and it can proven by mathematically, and this is already something certain, something governed by the mathematics. So uh, yeah, uh, I don't need other people tell me whether I need to do investment or not, because this is already a for sure thing. Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, mm. Okay, so anything else want to add in?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that's all for our today conversations. Did you enjoy the conversations? How do you feel? Please tell us what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake we made, please also comment to let us know, because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.